In this video, we're going to show you how to set up and run an Ashrae 241 verification test. It's almost identical to the UL verification test, which most of you are very familiar with. It has only thing it's different is a little bit of timing on the sequencing, and it gives very similar results. So we have the four-way sequencing sampler, we have the e-sprayer, the nozzle, the tag solution, our tape measure, of course the pressure, the air compressor, and a couple of cables, power supplies, and we have our cassettes and project documentation. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the first test, or whichever test you're working on, and you're going to want to record the room volume. So the room volume is easy to measure with this handy Bosch tape measure that we send you, only you don't even have to have a tape on it. So it's got this little display, and this would just measure a straight line, but it's got this other function. If you go until it gives you a square, it gives you 2, and then it calculates the square footage. So we need the ceiling height and the square footage. The way it works is, typical laser pointer. It has a red dot. You hold it against one wall. And let's see. There it is. I lost it. It was in the window. So you just push the red button and the dot appears, and then you push it again and it takes a measurement. So you see that's 15 feet 1 inches. And then you do the same on the other side. These things don't work great against shiny things like mirrors and windows and stuff. So in this case, it's 15 feet 1 inch by 12 feet 7 inches, or basically 191 square feet. So we only really need, in the portal, we need the 191 square feet. So you put 191 square feet. And then for measuring the ceiling height, it's pretty simple. You can leave it set the way it is. And you want to get it on the ceiling tile. And then the first measurement there, it says 9 foot 1 inch. So that's what we write down here, 9 foot 1 inch. And that will, when we get back home, we'll put that in the project portal and it'll calculate the results correctly. So that's it for measuring the room volume. Now we're going to set up the equipment. The sprayers want to be underneath a supply diffuser. And the reason for that is we want the aerosol to go up and get mixed around in the room. If you spray it into a return, it's not going to work very well. It'll just leave the room out the return, and you won't have a very good signal for your test. And then we connect the cable to it, and it's best to connect the sprayer first because there's both genders on the sampler, and it's easier to remain unconfused if you start on the device side, the e-sprayer side. And then you'll notice over here we have, it'll connect on this one. And you just have to get these things in and then give it a few turns. You don't have to cinch it down super tight. That just makes it harder to undo. And then you're going to want to face this. Ideally, we would have like a return vent up here so that we would envision the aerosol coming this way. We want it to face away from the sprayer so that we don't accidentally deposit material on the samples when it's not supposed to be. So we get that all set up like this. And then we have the power cable, which we can run from here, I guess is closer. And this plugs into the side, the obvious place. Leave that little round hole there, plug it in securely. You can turn it on. And this wants to be sprayer yes. The sprayer is not charged up, so the sprayer ready is not green, so something's a little wrong there. Then we will charge the sprayer up with the air pump. This is a great little air pump. When you turn it on, you notice it says 65 psi. That's how much we want to pressurize it, and it just pumps until it gets there, and then it quits. Super simple. So we put this on here, and we run it. Now that's all pressurized. And we can put the nozzle in there. You take off these little covers, put them away. And now that we're going to put the cassettes on and then label them. So when you're working with the cassettes, you should have clean hands and gloves, because the last thing you want to do is contaminate them with tag solution accidentally, which would invalidate your measurement. And you would have to come back and redo it. You want to do that. So these are the caps. You can either label the cassettes before you put them on, but my usual way is to put the cassettes on. Come on. Stupid thing. There we go. And then what we're going to also want to do is, this is test number 1, so we're going to put it for little test number 1 sample point. We only have, that's origin point, that goes over here. So this tells us what tag solution to put on. And the sample point, label tells you, test 1. It's got scenario 1, so that's going to be sample number 1, 2, 3, 4, and then scenario 2 would be, looks like 5, 6, 7, 8, and scenario number 3 is 9, 10, 11, 12. But we're doing scenario 1, so we'll put this here, and since we're doing scenario 1, that means we need to find our labels, our sample labels. Again, pro tip here, if you can get it to happen with your gloves on, it's probably easier to peel this off before you put your gloves on. Yeah. Anyway, if you can get this to peel off, I won't do it because I don't want to run out of time. It's easier to peel the labels off if you have the border all peeled off, but you can do it either way. It's kind of stick in here and are hard to get a hold of with gloves on. So you put sample number 1. They go sequentially, going bigger left to right. It's the obvious thing, but sometimes you just have to say it. Sample number 1, sample number 2, sample number 3, and sample number 4. And then you want to set this. This is the usual UL1, and then for controlled environments with high airflows, we got other ones, but we've got this UV one, but we also have UV and 241 have the same timing, so you just turn it all the way over there, and then that's where you want to be. And so now we've got it all set up. You'll want to put your materials sort of out of the way so they don't get the tag sprayed on them, but since we're doing a video, we can't take it really out of the room, but you get the idea. Then what we need to do is put the tag, and this one says, well, let's say it says, okay, it says C8. We need to have C8, and we've got C8 right here. You notice C8, so we're good to go. We take this little cap off, and we screw that on snug. Don't over tighten things. And then when you pull it out, I find that if you put your finger on one of these little ears like this and give it a little rocking motion as it goes over that last little bit, it comes out easier than if you try to pull it straight. Sometimes if you pull it straight, it splatters. You don't want that. Then you can throw these two things away. And all of this is hidden so that it's not going to get sprayed on. And now we're ready to start the test.